It's good to hear that there are other members inside that understand that America should come first. How long have you been at this?
I really got into the counterterrorism community back about 25 years ago.
Wow.
So it's been a while.
You know, you were the first person. I mean, in 2008, I was screaming at the top of my lungs trying to find someone that would listen on the risks of economic warfare. How is it that you picked up on the risk of economic warfare when almost everyone else in the Pentagon and every other agency I know was ignoring it?
Well, I think the biggest thing, honestly, was I'm a student of history, and if you go back and you study the history of warfare, economy governs it. Right. I mean, when you go back to World War II, just as an example, we had an entire Bureau of Economic Warfare,
right,
that was really drove our strategy in World War II. Just most Americans aren't really exposed to that. It kind of took place in small circles behind the scenes. And so when you brought it forward, vis-a-vis the China issue or the emergence of China and global trade and global information environment, it just made sense to at least explore it, right?
Yeah.
And there was just a general reluctance in the system because, for 50, 60 years, they had been focused upon, nuclear warfare, conventional warfare, all these sort of big systems and machines and technology. And this was a little bit more esoteric and a little less tangible, right? You couldn't grab it and hold it, so it was hard for people to conceptualize.
Yeah, well, the Chinese in their book, Unrestricted Warfare, they actually use the term. They say that Americans are slaves to technology in their thinking and that they will never be able to understand this. And it seems like that's the case inside the Pentagon.
It was definitely the case 10, 12 years ago. I think we're slowly starting to see an awakening, but we're way behind the curve now.
Yeah, well, you helped make that awakening. I mean, you funded my research that we did, Economic Warfare Risks and Responses. You helped me get it to the Financial Crisis Inquiry Commission. You played a big role in connecting me to a lot of the people that I know now and work with now. So I want to thank you for that.
Well, you're welcome. I appreciate the work you did for us, too.
Yeah, just for our viewers, you've helped form the Department of Defense Irregular Warfare Support Program. And you were the first program manager, right? And then you left there and you went to work with SOCOM. And
right.
then you left entirely. I know you worked with the war colleges and so forth, but you left entirely. And I remember this time we got together in 2016 at the Ritz-Carlton there in Tyson's Corner, and we sat down and you were about to go back into the White House. You'd been tapped for the National Security Council. What was that like?
It was exciting to be part of the Trump campaign in 2016. I always called the Trump campaign in 2016 the pirate ship. It was, we had taken over a ship of the line, and here we were, sailing up the Potomac to take over the city. I knew we would encounter some bureaucratic resistance, but I never dreamed it would become what it became. Right? I never dreamed that you'd see, the tools of the intelligence community and the bureaucracy turned against our own president. It was a surreal experience on so many levels.
Yeah, but you were the guy who saw it in advance. You actually wrote about it, and the famous memo that's out everywhere. I went back and reread that. I mean, you were definitely spot on, yet at the time the media was calling you crazy for thinking such things. I mean, you had it nailed.
I had the advantage of when I was in the Pentagon doing this stuff, but in foreign countries, right? And so, in the time period between our meeting at the Ritz-Carlton and writing the memo in April and May, more and more data points, more and more fact points started to be observable. And it was, it went from, being concerned that the bureaucracy would be trying to stop us to, holy cow, they're trying to remove us entirely. Right?
Yeah.
So it was this evolution over time that, it continues to this day. They're still trying to get rid of it.
Well, when we come back, we're going to take a break, but when we come back, I'm going to dive in with you on the threat that we see today, how the deep state, plus the Marxists and the Islamists who are still at work, plan to take down America by taking down President Trump and then taking down our whole system.